You are working harder than you ever have, and the results are getting worse. You are busy, you are exhausted, and somehow nothing important is actually getting done. Welcome to the Stoic Compass. I am Epictetus, and today I'm joined by Jung and LAOZI. Today we are examining why is the quality of your attention more important than the quantity of your effort. Let me say what everyone already suspects but will not admit. Most effort is avoidance. You pile on hours, tasks, activity, and you call it virtue. You call it discipline. But ask yourself, are you working hard on the right thing? Or are you simply working hard so that you do not have to ask whether you are working on the right thing? Effort without direction is not strength, it is noise. And the man who makes the most noise is not the one who gets anywhere worth going. The question is not how much you are doing. The question is whether you are actually present for any of it.
I would not dismiss the effort so quickly. There is something in the compulsive worker that deserves more than a reprimand. When a person cannot stop moving, cannot stop producing, cannot sit still with themselves for even a few minutes, that is not a discipline problem. That is a psychological problem. The busyness is doing something for them. It is holding something at bay. Perhaps the question to ask is not, are you focused enough? But what would you have to feel if you stopped?
You are both looking at the same person and seeing different problems. Epictetus sees a man without direction. Jung sees a man running from something. But I wonder if the problem is simpler than either of you are making it. He is not here, that is all. He is doing a great many things, and he is not present for a single one of them.
And what does it mean to be present, LAOZI? That word gets used like a magic cure. People say be present, and then they meditate for 10 minutes and go back to checking their messages every 40 seconds. Presence is not a mood, it is a decision. You decide what is in front of you matters. You decide to give it your full faculty. That is not mysticism. That is a choice, and it is available to you right now.
But that is exactly where your framework breaks down, Epictetus. You say decide, as if deciding were simple. As if the person sitting in front of a task and unable to focus were simply failing to make the correct choice. What I see in the consulting room is something different. I see people who cannot give their full attention to anything because their attention is already occupied by something they will not look at directly. The unresolved conflict, the grief they never finished, the ambition they are ashamed of. These things do not disappear when you decide to focus. They sit in the room with you.
That is true. But naming what occupies the attention is not the same as freeing it. You can spend years learning the name of every weight in the room and still be unable to set any of them down.
I am not suggesting that naming is sufficient. I am saying it is necessary. You cannot change a pattern you cannot see. The person who keeps losing their attention to the same anxious thought, the same resentment, the same fantasy, they are not undisciplined. They are following a current they have not yet identified. Once you see the current, you can decide whether to swim with it or across it.
Now that I agree with partially, seeing clearly is necessary. But seeing clearly is the beginning of action, not the substitute for it. Too many people treat self-knowledge as the destination. They excavate, they journal, they discuss their patterns at length, and nothing changes. Attention must ultimately land somewhere. It must be pointed at something real, something in front of you and held there. That is the skill, not the insight, the holding.
You keep framing attention as something you aim, a weapon almost. But there is another way to think about it. When water finds its level, it does not aim. It simply settles where there is no resistance. Attention, when it is not being forced, often knows where it belongs. The trouble is not that people cannot direct their attention. It is that they are directing it against itself, trying to concentrate by pushing away everything that arises, which is itself a form of effort that exhausts.
Are you saying effort is the problem? Because that is dangerous. Tell a lazy man that effort exhausts attention, and you have given him a philosophy that fits his excuses perfectly.
I'm not talking about a lazy man. I am talking about the driven man, the one you described at the beginning. He has too much effort. He is strangling his own attention with it. The problem is not that he does not care enough. It is that he is caring in the wrong direction.
There is a clinical word for what LAOZI is describing, though I suspect he would reject it. We call it compulsive compensation. The person does not feel adequate, not deep down, and so they perform effort as proof. They are not working to accomplish something. They are working to feel like the kind of person who works. And the more they work, the more the underlying feeling demands compensation, and the cycle tightens. Attention cannot settle under those conditions because the work is not actually for the work. It is for the internal audience.
And what is your prescription for that, Jung? More excavation? The man is already drowning in himself. At some point, he has to stop consulting the depths and do something.
My prescription is honesty, not excavation. One honest look at what the effort is actually for, not what you tell yourself it is for, what it is actually serving. That is not a lengthy project. It is a single, often uncomfortable question.
And when he asks it and gets the answer, what then?
Then the effort changes. It becomes real effort for real reasons. And that kind of effort does not feel like drowning. It feels completely different.
It feels like attention, actual attention. Not the scattered, performed, defensive busyness, but real contact with the thing in front of you. And here is what I want to say about that. You cannot manufacture it by working more. You cannot earn it through volume. The only way to have it is to stop substituting quantity for it. Stop pretending that more hours is the same thing as more engagement. It is not. An hour of genuine focus accomplishes what 10 hours of distracted motion cannot. This is not an opinion. This is observable. Watch any craftsman who is truly present with their work. Watch any thinker who has learned to sit still with a single problem. What they produce is disproportionate to the time spent. Because time is not what they are spending themselves, fully, without reservation.
That is the part that cannot be forced. You can sit in front of the work. You can eliminate the distractions. You can make the conditions correct. But at some point, the attention either arrives or it does not. And if you try too hard to make it arrive, you push it further away.
I disagree. Attention is trainable. You do not wait for it. You build the conditions for it over and over until it becomes reliable. You build the habit of showing up and being there fully. Yes, it slips. Yes, there are days it is harder than others. But you do not sit and wait for clarity as if it were weather. You practice returning to it until returning becomes quick.
I think you are both right, and you are arguing about sequence. LAOZI is describing what happens when you force it prematurely, which is real and which I see often. Epictetus is describing what happens after you have done the honest work of clearing the room, the practice of returning, the discipline of re-engagement. Neither of you is wrong. You are describing different stages of the same process.
I am not describing a stage. I am describing a relationship with the work, with the moment. You can practice returning, as Epictetus says. But if the returning is anxious and clenched, you are still not there. You are performing being there, which is its own kind of absence.
Fine. I will accept that distinction. Anxious discipline is not the goal. But do not use that as a reason to avoid discipline entirely. The fact that something can be done badly does not mean it should not be done.
No one in this conversation is arguing against discipline. What we are arguing against is discipline divorced from self-knowledge. The soldier who trains without knowing what he is fighting for is a dangerous instrument. The worker who grinds without knowing what the grinding is actually serving, what it is protecting him from, that worker is not a model of virtue. He is a machine that has forgotten it has a person inside it.
And the person inside it has forgotten that the quality of one moment is worth more than the volume of 100.
Now that I will not argue with.
Progress.
Or the absence of argument, which is sometimes the same thing.
You have heard 3 men dispute the shape of the problem. Now hear what the problem actually costs you. Here is what is true. Effort spent without attention is not investment, it is waste. You do not get the hours back. You do not get credit for the volume of motion you generated. What you get, or fail to get, is the result. And results require that you were actually there. Attention is not the same as concentration. Concentration is forced, attention is given. When you give your attention to something, you are not straining toward it. You are making contact with it. Real contact. The kind where you notice what is actually happening, not what you expected to happen. That is where progress lives, not in the hours, in the contact. Most people reading this are not lazy. They work constantly. The problem is that they work on 5 things at once, or they work while worrying about something else, or they work to feel productive rather than to produce anything. That kind of effort is a drain, not an engine. It depletes you and moves nothing forward. The fix is not to try harder. The fix is to try less on fewer things with full presence. Today, try this. Pick one task, just one. And before you begin, sit with it for 60 seconds. Not thinking about it frantically, just letting it become real. Ask yourself what actually needs to happen here and then work only on that. One thing, fully. See what that produces compared to your usual hour of divided effort. You will not need to be told twice. You already know the difference between being present and performing effort. You have felt both. One leaves you empty at the end of the day. The other leaves you with something that was not there before. Stop counting the hours. They are the wrong measure. The only measure is whether you were actually there. Go do one thing, one real thing. Do it completely. That is enough. If today's conversation has served you, take it further. Pay Attention by C. Tribu. 12 Lessons in the Practice of Seeing Clearly. Available now on Amazon.